Champions of Europe finally! History made in Istanbul! The treble complete!
History makers! For the first time ever, an English club have won 4 titles in a row!
Dun dun dun. Rice, rice, baby. Dun 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 dun. Rice, rice, bye bye. Absolutely buzzing. Manchester City, top of the league we go. And what a sensational first half, in particular from Manchester City. Took West Ham to the cleaners in the first half with a little bit of ropey moments here and there. Very unlucky with the own goal, I thought, but the first half was absolutely sensational. But Erling Haaland with another hat-trick. He's making what is totally abnormal the norm. He's making it seem simple for Premier League players to get hat-tricks, to the point where it's just like other Premier League strikers are looking at it like, well, I can't do that. And then name me one that can. Name me one that can. Name me one that ever has. You know, even the great Sergio Aguero can't even live up to these numbers, breaking record after record. Erling Haaland, in the month of August alone, he's only ever played 3 months of Augusts, plural, in the Premier League. In those 3 months of Augusts, he's scored 19 goals in 11 appearances. This guy gets off to an absolute flyer. 7 goals in the first 3 games, with the record previously being held by Edin Dzeko, a former Manchester City player. And they say Manchester City have no history. It's just getting, it's almost too easy to be a City fan, and we need to recognise that we are living in an age where it's just frightening, and these things are not being respected enough, and they never will be, by rival fans. Who gives a shit what they think? But what we do as fans, we need to just, like, you know, when you lose, you're not in the moments, and you go back to the good old days, and you don't realise what the good old days are when you're in them. We're in them. We're in it now. We're living it. We're witnessing the good old days now. There doesn't get better days than this. This is as good as it gets. English football has never seen anything like it. And there's no record that we can't break right now. We've broken them all. We've got 4 Premier League titles in a row. The only Premier League team to get 100 points. 4 domestic trophies in a row. They said the treble will never be repeated. Oh, we've done that. Oh, we've done it. No problem. Do you know what I mean? Record after record. The highest goals scored in a Premier League season. City. 7 goals in 3 games from Erling Haaland. He represents Manchester City. We are just an unstoppable force right now, and we've just coasted our way top of the league and absolutely punished Arsenal. Punished them for dropping those points from the stupid decision for Declan Rice to kick that ball out of play. And I mean, I know what you're saying. It's a bit loose and a bit... Ugh. I don't want to see red cards for that. I understand the average football fan doesn't want to see red cards for that. But those same fans are the ones that are going to Manchester City fans with the financial rules. Oh, well, rules are rules. Rules are rules. You've got to follow the financial rules, haven't you? Like, yeah, rules are fucking rules, mate, on the pitch as well. And those rules were broken with Declan Rice kicking the ball out of play. I'm sorry. You can't do that. He may have been booted as a result. That's just funny. To get kicked and sent off is nothing short of hilarious to me. I think that's absolute comedy gold. To get booted, absolutely twatted, and then red card in your face. That is comedy genius that only Arsenal can provide. They are a sensational football club for it, and absolutely brilliant for providing me with a wonderful Saturday afternoon. So thank you very much, Arsenal. And thank you very much, Manchester City, most importantly, for the first half performance as well. But let me say hello to everyone first. Kay Lane was in here first. Good to see you, mate. Section, as always, you're a legend, mate. Good to see you. Coach Ice as well. Maru. Good to see you. Ryan. Douglas, absolutely, mate. Yep, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. Lots of new faces in the last watch long as well. That was good. Nick also became a member in the watch long. Thank you very much for your support, mate. Carl, get in, boys. Haaland be on 50 plus goals this season. What, in the Prem? I think, yeah. I mean, imagine if he gets like 40 in the Prem. Do you know what I mean? What is it? 36, wasn't it? Was the record? Yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I mean, where do we go from here as fans? But I'm astounded to think that these records that we are continuously breaking, that Haaland as well is breaking, that they're not being respected. They're just being chalked off at such a speed that we don't get time to absorb the last one. Do you know what I mean? We don't get to sit down and really pay attention to how good it was that he's the fastest player to this number of hat-tricks, or to break the Premier League record. Because all those records, that the Haaland's the most Premier League goals in a Premier League season, Haaland done, followed immediately by an FA Cup win. Oh, we're straight onto that. Oh, in that game, by the way, the fastest FA Cup goal ever scored. Don't forget that. We've got that record as well. Boom, goal, record. Fucking hell, can you just one record at a time, please? Just let us absorb and enjoy one record at a time. Then it's like, oh no, sorry, no time to enjoy that. Treble's next. There we go. Enjoy that. Oh, brilliant. Oh. How good was the treble? Fucking treble. We're on about 4 in a row, mate. We're going up 4 in a row. Oh, that record now. Cool. 4 in a row. Let's get that. Oh, we've done that. Now we're going for 5 in a row. And Erling Haaland has already broken records this season. We're 3 games in. Do you know what I mean? It's insane. It's insane. And it is such a privilege and an honour to be a City fan nowadays. It really, really is. I mean, Liverpool and United tomorrow. What a fixture that's always is, and I'm really excited for that. But you just think the top 3 teams, Liverpool, City and Arsenal having already dropped points already 3 games in, Liverpool could very easily drop points tomorrow, and Old Trafford is not a happy hunting ground for Liverpool. I expect them to win, but you just never know. United turn up against Liverpool, they can cause major problems for Liverpool, and before you know it, we're 2 points ahead of both Liverpool and Arsenal this early into the season. And I mean, back in the day, I was saying this in the watch along, back in the day, and I'm talking 5 years ago, not that long ago, but 5 years ago, drawing a game like this, at this stage of the season, was like, 35 games to go, plenty of time to recover, and there is still, of course there is, things can change. We've turned round bigger deficits than 2 points. Of course there's time to turn this round. Arsenal go and beat us, they go ahead of us. It's as simple as that. They're 1 game away from beating us, so let's put some perspective on it. But the psychology of the Arsenal fans, and I'm sure you've all heard them, talking in Twitter or wherever you listen to Arsenal fans, they're everywhere, mate. They're everywhere. They're like rats. You can't go 2 yards without walking past one. You hear them speak, and when they speak, they are petrified of Manchester City, and they know the importance of not dropping points or giving Manchester City the psychological advantage in what is a title race already. Let's be honest, Liverpool, Arsenal and City are going to be the 3 likely title race contenders. But doing it this early, you'd think back in the day, like, oh well, drop points doesn't really matter. But we have done this. We, as Manchester City Football Club, have instilled this fear into our rivals, whereas if you drop points this early in the season, then you've got the fan base of the club that's just dropped points absolutely shitting themselves at the prospect that the title race could already be over, and like, oh, we've done it, what are we doing here, dropping points, City are going to run away with it now, we've given them the advantage. Where it's like, we know full well that we could go 20 games behind Arsenal, 30 games behind Arsenal. Arsenal led the Premier League table. They were top of the Premier League table for the record. No one has ever been top of the Premier League as much as Arsenal were last season. No one has ever done that and still not won the league. That's what we do. So they know when they're top, being chased is bad enough, but chasing Manchester City is a whole different ballgame. And that is something that I don't think many fans recognise. The chasing aspect is, it was something we've not done for a very long time. The 100 points as well, that was the last season, I think, was the last time I can really remember City running away with it, and there's no way we are running away with it this title. I feel Arsenal will probably bounce back against Spurs even without Declan Rice. But you're getting to the point now, if they drop points against Spurs, and we go and win, and then we face Arsenal and beat them, what would that be? 7 points behind City, 6 games into the season. 5 games into the season and you're 6 points behind City. This could go very wrong very quickly for Arsenal. It could also spin, of course. We can talk about the opposite side of the coin, and it could very easily go the other way. But this could be an absolute shit show for Arsenal all of a sudden, because the form that we have hit the ground running. Well, Erling Haaland has hit the ground running. I think our midfield, the system that Pep's playing is really, really good. Now, I want to talk about the game a little bit as well. Let's talk about the game. So I've got the stats up here in front of me. City dominated with 69% possession, as you'd expect. 23 shots, 8 on target. West Ham had 10 to 2 on target. So very dominant from Manchester City, as you'd expect. But the first half was absolutely brilliant. There was the first 2-3 minutes, actually. I was a little bit like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on here? There was been some chances. There was Gvardiol was a bit sloppy in the first couple of minutes. Gvardiol had a great game after that. Good game. Not a great game, good game. But he played well after the first couple of minutes. But he got nudged off the ball by Bowen in like the first minute. Then the ball goes down the line. The ball is switched and then comes back in across the face of goal. Antonio at the back post, but Gvardiol redeemed himself straight away with some really good defending against Antonio. It could have been easily 1-0 to West Ham at that point. I think Jared Bowen got a chance as well, like a minute later, that he missed. And we got away with that one as well. But after the first couple of minutes where West Ham really came out firing, so respect to them for doing that, but we took control. After that, it was just pure domination from Manchester City. Chance after chance. Kevin De Bruyne smashing the bar, or the post rather. Jack Grealish then on the rebound, should have probably hit the target. Haaland punishes West Ham for pissing about with it. Paquetá, who I thought had a poor game. He didn't play well in my book. But it was a combination of Kudus and Paquetá like giving the ball away to Bernardo Silva, who sends Haaland away. And at that point, once it's at Haaland's toes, I'm thinking 1-0. The way he's playing right now, in that position, Haaland at that angle, when he's going at an angle that favours the left foot to whip it round the keeper, he is never going to miss that. He's never going to miss that. And I was half celebrating before he even got into the area. And then the second goal was a fantastic bit of play, which Jack Grealish was the heart of. So credit to Jack Grealish for coming on. And he didn't grab a headline, which I'd like him to do, but he played well. He played well, Jack Grealish, and he was heavily involved in that second goal, coming in from the left-hand side. I think he laid it off to Kovacic, and I think Kovacic laid it off to Rico Lewis. This is going off memory. And then Rico Lewis then laid it off to Haaland, if memory serves me, and then Haaland just batters it into the roof of the net. It was a blur, and Areola was just like, what the fuck was that? Swatting flies, mate. Couldn't see a thing. Ball's in the back of the net before he knows it. 2-0. 2-1. And then, because in between that, West Ham went up the other end, didn't they? And got a very, very fortunate own goal. Ruben Diaz, could he have done better there? It's hard. It's not easy to defend a cross. Hard and low crosses are nightmares to deal with. And I mean, you're hoping he can cushion that away for a corner. That's what he's trying to do, just get anything away from goal. But it comes very ugly off his knee and trickles into into that far corner. After that, we dominated again. Obviously, we made it 2-1, and I felt like we dominated with the ball. We created a lot more chances. There was a Rico Lewis, should have hit the target. That was a big miss, and that's 2-2 now for Rico. So Rico, who's having a great season. I don't want to criticise him too much. He played really well today again. A couple of moments he dealt with Kudus, by the way. Kudus is not easy. He is not an easy opponent to deal with. And Rico Lewis, not only is he not an out-and-out fullback, he's a defensive midfielder and a right-sided central midfielder and a right-back. But when he had to do the right-back duties, he did them well, and he dealt with Kudus really well and sent him away from goal as often as possible. And Kudus is difficult, man. He's a difficult player to deal with. There was one counter-attack from West Ham that put the shits up every City fan, where Jared Bowen and City were just caught. And that came from an opportunity for City. A ball scrambled across the edge of the box, or the edge of, on the line almost actually, into the 6-yard box. And all of a sudden West Ham, which is what was probably their game plan with the speed that they had, with Bowen, Kudus and Antonio, all three can carry the ball brilliantly and all offer a bit of a goal threat. With Antonio's got 5 goal involvements against Manchester City in his career, with 3 goals and 2 assists against City. Jared Bowen scored against City before. Kudus with that overhead kick in the last game of the season, last season, where we won the league. So the 3 players know how to score against Manchester City. and they very nearly got a second goal in the second half, and that game could have been very, very different. I did think we were a bit... I think we need to be a bit of credit to West Ham, because I feel like they came out very well, they played well. I didn't like how we lost control of the ball too easily, though. There were moments in that game where I felt like we were just allowing West Ham to control the ball, but not getting into a defensive shape to accept, right, okay, there are moments in games where it's 10 minutes where you just got to accept the opposition are going for it, mate. Accept that, weather the storm, set up a defensive shape, and absorb the pressure. Just take the hit. You can't control the game for 90 minutes. There's going to be a 5-minute spell. You can, City can against lesser opposition, but most Premier League opposition sides are going to get a 5-10 minute spell in the game. And I felt like we didn't really have good game management in that spell, and we got away with it a little bit because West Ham were wasteful in the final third. But they had a lot of opportunities to cross the ball in that second half, and it became a bit of a basketball match from about the 60th minute to about the 70th minute, where it was end to end, and that just does not suit us. And the other end we weren't creating anything like they were creating. So there was that spell in the second half that was a little bit concerning. But I would say we got away with it in truth, because I think they were wasteful. But ultimately, you're just craving that one moment where Erling Haaland can or anyone can make it 3. And we did. And he's on my screen right now being interviewed. I wish I could hear what he's saying. But he's got a big smile on his face. So he's a happy, happy man, as you can understand. But it was a great show from Erling Haaland once again. It was the Erling Haaland show. And credit to Mateus Nunes coming on and feeding that ball to him, by the way. Nunes coming on as a left wing. Eventually, it looked like we had no wingers on the pitch at all. So we went from Doku and Savinho, these scintillating, ball-carrying, full-back, obliterating wingers, to having Jack Grealish, who's not really known for doing that, but played well today. And then Bernardo Silva had to play on that right wing for spells in the game as well. Again, a similar player that wants to drift inside and invert a little bit rather than going round the outside. And I don't think we looked bad for it when we lost. Well, we didn't start with Savinho, so reports are that he's going to be okay within 10 days, a little minor knee injury. Hoping it's not anything continued from that Chelsea game, because he picked up a knee injury in that game as well. So hopefully Savinho's... I'm pretty sure he was fit all season for Girona. So you're hoping we don't see an injury-prone season for Savinho, because he's someone that's going to light this Premier League up. But he's got to play consistently. Availability is the best ability, as they say. So do you know what I mean? As much as he's a scintillating player and I can't wait to see more of him, he's got to stay fit, and that's not something he can control. I know that, but do you know what I mean? I'm hoping he stays fit and we can see more of him, because Doku and Savinho in this game, I feel like Savinho on the other side would have ripped it up. But Jack Grealish, make no mistake, played well. He did play well in the first half. There was a link-up connection triangle, like a conveyor belt of movement with Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, and Jack Grealish. They were just moving West Ham players all over the place. And I swear City didn't even need to cross the ball that much in the first half. We were just passing it into the penalty area. We spent so much time in their box, just passing it around in the 18-yard box in the first half. And a lot of that was to do with Jack Grealish's positioning and his clever little passes inside. They were really good. De Bruyne as well, equally good. Bernardo Silva, I felt, played really, really well in this game. Kovacic was brilliant again. What does he do wrong? What does Kovacic ever do wrong? I don't remember him doing anything wrong in the whole game. You know, I'm racking my brain to try and think, trying to nitpick, to try and give you something, like I don't even want to, but to try and find something that Kovacic did wrong today. He was pretty much impeccable. And the sad thing is that he's probably going to find himself on the bench sooner rather than later, because Rodri's back. And Rodri's just Rodri, isn't he? So it's just like, we have got these options now, and I think Kovacic, as well as Pep Guardiola and Cheeky, have absolutely answered all the fears that we all had, me included. I was very much like, no defensive midfield backup for Rodri. That's a bit concerning. Obviously, we all felt like that, but Kovacic has just come in and just been like, shut up. Everyone shut up. Me, telling me to shut up. I'm one of them. Everyone shut up. I know what I'm doing in this role. And he's done it to near perfection, from the Community Shield till the final whistle of this West Ham game. I don't think he's put a foot wrong. I think he put one mistake against Ipswich where he should have been pressing, and I was being quite harsh there, and I was being quite aggressive in really trying to find out what went wrong in that goal. And that is what went wrong in that goal. Kovacic should have moved forward and pressed. Can't remember who was bringing it forward. Axel Tuanzebe, I think it was, or Johnson, I think, for Ipswich. Ben Johnson. He's got to press a bit. Other than that, I can't think of a Kovacic error. You know, I felt like he's been pretty much perfect. As has Rico Lewis, barring the 2 misses. Something he needs to work on is definitely his finishing, because if he's going to get into positions to score a goal, I'd like him to start hitting the target a bit better than he has done. Hitting the crossbar against Ipswich was a bad miss, but he completely missed the target today in a position where he had time. It was a lovely, lovely layoff from Erling Haaland, and we could be talking about a Haaland hat-trick and an assist. It was great hold-up play. Haaland hold-up play was good in the first half as well, and he laid it off to Rico Lewis, and you're thinking Rico's going to smash this into the top corner. He scored a similar goal, Rico Lewis, in the Champions League. Can't remember who it was against, but he scored a similar goal from a similar position that he missed today, and he smashed it into the roof of the net. I can't remember who it was against, but I'd like him to start hitting the target a little bit more, Rico Lewis. But again, I'm being like hypercritical there, because I feel like his positional awareness was fantastic. His overall contribution to the match, really, really good. Gundogan came on, controlled the game reasonably well. Didn't put a foot wrong, really. There was a couple of nice bit of footwork from Gundogan, to the point where Kovacic was just applauding Gundogan, just like those 2 players are just silky smooth, aren't they? Gundogan and Kovacic are just like, just spreading butter, mate. Absolutely smooth as it comes. And this is without Rodri and without Phil Foden. Just let that sink in, because you've heard the rival fans as well, by the way. I was ranting about that in the watch-along as well. Just like, rival fans are now wishing our players, preemptively wishing they get injured. I understand if you were to privately, you find out one of your rival's best players is injured. Most people inside go, yes, that's a bit of good news, because obviously that harms them and it gives us a better chance to win trophies. Deep down, even though no one wishes anyone to have a broken leg, because they're human beings, deep down, no one wants a broken leg. That's not what anyone wants. But an injury that keeps a player out, a muscle injury for 3 or 4 games. If Arsenal lost Odegaard for 4 or 5 games, or even longer, Declan Rice, I mean, they're all shit in the bed for losing Declan Rice for 1 game. So you can see the impact. You've got rival fans now, because City are so dominant, they're not even reacting to players getting injured at Manchester City, because they all recognise that Gundogan spent 2/3 of the season last season being injured, and we still won the league. Then, this season, going into the season, I've heard so many people say, like, oh, but what if they lose Haaland? What if they lose Kevin De Bruyne? You're preemptively getting excited about something that, 1, hasn't happened yet, and 2, you want it to happen to give yourself a chance. It gives your head a fucking wobble, mate. What are you talking about? Like, do you know what I mean? The absolute shambolic state of our rival fans now is just gone, mate. We've broken them. We've broken them to the point where they hope our players get injured. That's their best chance, is it? Give over, mate. Yeah. Why don't you just try and beat us on the pitch? Why don't you put your best 11 on the pitch and our best 11, and we'll see who wins? Because you know the outcome. You know the outcome, and you don't want to admit it. That's the outcome that they refuse to admit. And we're top of the league as a result, with 9 points to our name. Liverpool could go top. Looking at the table now, got what? They need to beat United by 4 goals tomorrow. And I mean, I wouldn't put it past United. Not put it past Liverpool, I wouldn't put it past United. So Liverpool could go top tomorrow, but other than that, looks like we're sitting hunky-dory, top of the league for the weekend again. Oh, absolutely love it. Cassius, thank you very much for that super chat, really appreciate it. Are we winning domestic trophies? This squad feels better and looks better than the treble side. It's hard to say this early into the season, Cassius, but there is one thing I will say, that I would take the word better away and not say better, because I think better is results. It's a results business, isn't it? So when you talk about better, you're talking about results. And if we go and win the treble, then yes, we are. What I would replace the word better with exciting. I would definitely say we're more exciting than our treble winning team. We were effective. We were pragmatic. We were just solid in that treble winning season. And that was founded on a very good back line, a defensive setup that was just so difficult to break, to the point where you've got Arsenal fans saying, "Oh, is Jorian Timber playing the John Stones role? Oh, is Zinchenko playing the Stones role?" Do you know what I mean? That season we created a role that's named after one of our players. That's how good we were that season. Do you know what I mean? But that came from solidity. So while I agree that this is incredibly promising, and we could go and do things that could better the treble winning season, there is a long way to go, obviously. But in the word exciting, definitely, with Savinho and Doku, Haaland scoring goals freely again, quite easily finding himself in front of goal with an opportunity to shoot, which was a big problem for us last season. And I say that considering he still finished the season with the Golden Boot and still bagged 30 plus goals. Do you know what I mean? So Haaland having a bad season is every other striker's dream season. Whereas this season he's already got 7 goals to his name, and I think that spells terrifying prospect for our rival fans, because we are able to create chances for Erling Haaland. It's this new system that Pep's playing with, really pushing out De Bruyne out wide, stretching the midfield, opening up, because that's what opposition sides were doing all season, was just filling up the midfield. They just filled it up, just blocked it up, just like stuffing it and plugging up that midfield with as many bodies as possible. And Pep knew that, right, well, I need to go around them then. We need to go around them. So, Gvardiol, left wing, Kyle Walker, right wing. With aggressive players that can carry the ball at least, but they're not the best at doing that job. When you think about Doku and Savinho, who are absolutely scintillating forward players that are born and they're built for that role. They can play that role, and that's their job. They're designed to do that, is beat the fullback. Whereas now, it's every game it goes to prove that we are still waiting to see what the opposition rivals can do to stop this City side now, because this City side has so many options. Because you want to man mark us, fine, okay, we'll go through the middle of you, because man marking will send our players out wide, create space in the middle. Channels will be there, not chasms. We will create chasms of space for De Bruyne, for Rodri, for Kovacic, for Rico, for Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, all of these players that can find the pockets so easily. So you're going to do man to man, that's fine. You want to fill up the midfield like Chelsea did really well, like United, how they won the FA Cup final by doing that. Going a mixture, actually. United had a bit of a man-to-man hybrid with a very narrow defensive block in the midfield, and we couldn't go round them very effectively. Whereas now we've got the players that can go around players and beat them with ease. So I don't know. I mean, there's better football brains out there than me that are in the dugout of opposition football clubs. So they've got to come up with it. I don't see how you can come up with this side right now, but I'm not the man for the job. I'm not being paid as a Premier League manager. There's going to be a manager at some point that could come up with a ploy to stop this from Manchester City, but I don't see it. I don't know how you do it now. You're getting into the realm of what I was talking about before, hoping our players are injured, so our best players can't enact these tactics that Pep Guardiola's come up with. And good luck with that. If the players stay fit, good luck stopping us. Good luck with that. Because I'm feeling very, very confident more and more this season goes on. And even when they scored today, West Ham, I felt like we were in control. The second half was concerning. That was a little bit concerning. I felt like we were a little bit open. I felt like we didn't control the play well enough in that second half. A little bit loose with it. Times where it was just a bit sloppy. There was moments from Ruben Diaz and Gvardiol that I thought they were a little bit sloppy in the second half on the ball. But you take what you can get, you know what I mean? And I don't think we should be focusing too much on what City did wrong today, because we've gone away from home with our striker scoring a hat-trick and we've won 3-1. Do you know what I mean? So that's the standards we're setting for the rest of the Premier League, and it's absolutely fantastic to see. Blues, what a day. What a day this is. Arsenal drop points, City collect all 3 points, and top of the league we go on points already. We're at 2 points ahead of second place already, 3 games in. Absolutely buzzing. Blues, thank you so much for joining me in the watch long. Don't forget to hit that like button as well. 250 of you watching. Thank you very much for tuning in to the match reaction. And please hit your like button on the way out. It's very easy for you to do and means the world to me. So please do. It really helps. And I'll see you in the next one. Player ratings in the morning. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon or evening, whatever time it is, wherever you're watching. And take care, Blues. See you in the next one.